Everyone, RemanX here, aka the Rem Guardian. We're going to talk about this character release and how he shapes up into your roster and what I think his role is going to be. So let's get right into it. Now, Red Guardian is a unique tank in that he is Drax level good. And we're going to say why Drax is good here in a second. But he starts with defense up, taunt. He gives defense up to allies. He also heals allies with his taunt and does a decent amount of damage when built correctly. So let's get into the nitty gritty. So Red Guardian is the glue that brings the skilletary team together. And while that's going to be a separate video later on today, we're going to go right into why I think the Red Guardian is worth $50. And so we were talking a little bit earlier about $50 characters, and we took the high water mark is probably Emma, which was a $50 character. You know, 100 shard unlock are typically $50. So the impact that she's had in the game is long lasting, and I think the Red Guardian will be the same. Now, let's evaluate what he does that's unique. So many times your tanks will die because they're taunting. Red Guardian still has that opportunity if he takes too much damage to the facial region. However, upon taking 50%, he sheds that taunt, heals himself up, and basically rebounds, ready to take charge again. So realistically, in modes where healing isn't allowed between attempts, I don't know, .3 raids, he is probably going to become a staple. Now, he is heavily worth the investment. I haven't made all the investment yet because I really want to take a more balanced skilletary team up against some of their supposed counters and basically give you guys a better aspect of what they can face. And so if I built him up too high, it would be an irregular team here. So I did his passive. I think his passive is probably the big deal here. Now, the reason why his passive is important is because without his passive, he doesn't give speed up to the rest of the team. So that's going to be the big deal. He does a great deal amount of blocking. Unlike Sif, he doesn't require as much to get some of those big block numbers off. And like I said, he starts with defense up, which is a big deal. And he was able to shrug off quite a few blows in the mercenary attempt we had with the team. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a sneak preview here of that fight, so you guys get an idea of what the full potential is. Let me move myself over this way so you guys can take a look. So yesterday I was able to take them into a war fight, and thank goodness for my alliance for letting me do these testing, despite the fact that it may have cost us the war. It probably taught us a few lessons about the team here. So when we're looking at the team, all right, oh, there's this guy. Look at this with the handsome helmet on. Boy, that guy's really handsome. I didn't realize how handsome he was. Red Guardian looking good. All right, so we're gonna get into the fight here. And so what we're gonna showcase is basically the amount of damage he can take from specifically Taskmaster. And so we're going to showcase his power level. So my Red Guardian, okay, just to give you an idea, at that very moment in time, he was a 2 red 5-star. I think he was 68. So he didn't have a lot of power. So we're going to take a look at this damage here really quickly. All right, so he's already taken some significant amount of damage from the early attacks and from the characters that had the extra speed here. So again, against this team, I don't know if they're going to be able to hold their own. We're going to have to find out if maybe there's an attack priority here. I do think that unfortunately the blind cripples them early on. And if maybe he was a little bit bigger, he could help the team recover from this. But I think there's just too much damage coming quickly. And once this team is blinded, even though they're going to be able to steal buffs, they're not necessarily able to recover quickly enough to get to take out members of the team. So let's get into it right away. So really quickly, we did the math for you. So he's going to hit, Killmonger's going to hit for 47k. He's going to hit with his crit for another 22k for 69k. And then you're going to get the assists from Taskmaster for another 50k. Now it puts that Red Guardian on the ropes. But this is the real power of the Red Guardian. The Red Guardian is simply going to shrug it off and do a 66k heal here. So, and then be ready to do some work. Now that is a lot of incoming damage. We've seen better tanks fall over dead before they can recover from that. And more importantly, we're going to see his next turn. This is his real power. This is taunt, and we're just going to just showcase that actual heal number for you guys. Was 33k heal. Pretty substantial considering the size of the Red Guardian there. Only 46k. So, in case you were wondering, is this character worth it? My opinion is, yeah. Remember, he doesn't need skill military to do that type of heal. He'll do it on any team he's a part of. So, how does he fit into your future? Is he going to be a Dark Dimension 4 character? Where does he actually fall in all of this? Well, he's a heavy investment. Now, that means that you're looking at 90 skill pieces to take him into Dark Dimension 4. Now, we all know the Dark Dimension 4 is a lot about control. He doesn't do the energy generation, but he can do a little bit of assistance heal at high stars and high red stars that he'll probably have to be for you to consider taking him a DD4. I think you'll be surprised at how much healing he actually does and what he actually is able to shrug off. Now, as far as the skill military team goes, that's where this becomes a problem. If you're only buying the Red Guardian to make this skill military team, there is one important warning that you need to know. It's going to be expensive in the term of resources. And that means at gear tier 13, at a minimum, if you're facing those G14 Marauders, you're probably going to be taking away resources, especially in the form of T4s, to make the team work. We're going to highlight that again in another video that demonstrates some more of the fights we saw. We actually were able to take them up against Asgard. One of the fights that were featured in the Strike Time video, and try to simulate if we can get the same effects. So I hope you guys stay tuned for that in a little bit. But that's the big warning. If you want to build up skill military, you're going to take a high consideration for the amount of materials you're going to need to bring them to a reasonable level for a heavily invested team. You've got a team that features two of the best characters in the game, hand down. Probably future-proof characters in Emma and Mr. Sinister. And I'm sorry to say that I don't feel like anybody but the Red Guardian on the skill military team is future-proof at this point. I feel like they could quickly fall off with some quick counters, and you put Zemo on the Marauders, and suddenly this team is less effective while a minion gets destroyed. So from that regard, be wary. We have seen Marauders already as a concept. Not my big fan of the team, but if skill military becomes the preferred method, we'll probably see that become a defensive meta shift. So T4s are one of the biggest bottlenecks in the game, and I'm very wary recommending a team. Same reason why while I love Wave 1, I don't recommend it for everybody. Anytime a team has been reworked in the game, the level of T4s to bring them up is substantial. So, wanted to share that with you guys. Red Guardian, amazing. Potentially in the Doom meta. We'll have to test that out later. But it's going to be a few months before you guys get Doom. You have to determine if you're going to wait or not. But I promise you guys, you're going to see this guy at his full potential. G13 soon. We're going to max out his stars. We're going to hopefully get him up to a substantial red star level here and take him in to some bigger teams coming soon. All right. Remember, I do things so you don't have to. This includes losing some war fights. Thank you, my alliance, for putting up with me for so long. And love you much. Catch you soon and be kind to each other.